Can you start by telling us what the SEND case officers do in Rutland?
Well, the SEND case officers are part of the SEND team at Rutland, and their job is to oversee the legal process of an assessment for an education, health and care plan.
How does this all start?
A school or college will usually decide that an education, health and care plan, also known as an EHCP, might be needed to help a child. And so the SENCO will fill out a form and email this to the SEND team at Rutland County Council. A parent or young person can also do this. And this is all called a request for an EHC needs assessment. And once this is sent in, the family will be allocated a case officer who will then be with them for as long as the child or young person is open to this legal process of being assessed for an EHCP.
What does a case officer do once a request has been made?
Well, first of all, the case officer will gather information so that a decision can be made about whether an assessment for an EHCP is going to be done. The decision is based on the legal test. The legal test means that Rutland County Council must think about, firstly, whether the child or young person has or may have special educational needs, and secondly, whether it may be necessary for special education provision to be made for the child or young person through an EHCP.
What happens once this decision has been made?
If the decision is taken to assess the child or young person's needs, the case officer will ask for information and assessments from anyone working with them. This could be the speech and language therapist, the teacher, the teaching assistant, social worker, GP, etc. They'll pull this information together, they'll analyse it, and then they'll make recommendations. The case officer will always do their best to meet everybody through a getting to know you meeting. This is a chance to talk through what will happen, to get to know each other, learn what's important to the family.
How is a school chosen?
The case officer will consult with schools to find out whether or not they can meet the child or young person's needs. The case officer will tell several schools about the support that the child or young person needs so that they can then decide if their school could be a suitable place for them.
What happens if the family don't agree with any decisions that are made or about what is in the plan?
If a family doesn't agree with something that's written in the EHCP, the case officer will talk to them to try to come up with a solution that everybody is then happy with. If this isn't possible, the case officer will help the family understand their rights of how they can challenge any decisions.
What happens once the plan is in place?
Once the plan is agreed and in place, the family won't have a named case officer anymore, but the SEND team supports all families with any questions or concerns.